Blessings, Soul Seekers. This is Priscilla Campos from the Temples of Atlantis. And as I'm teaching today in the next 3 days about Lemuria and her rise, I thought it'd be wonderful for my students, but also for anyone that's interested, to go through my reading list and see if it resonates with you or if you're interested in picking up some more. So one of my first books I've read on Lemuria is The Lost Continent of Mu by James Churchwood. And this book is researched and written throughout the 1800s and the early 1900s, and is probably one of like the foundations of Lemuria that's been written about. And what's interesting is it's very technical. It's not very spiritual, but it really shows the influence of Mu, the motherland, how the symbols are found in ancient cultures all over the world, and even today it connects things such as Easter Island to Vancouver Island, and talks a great length about really the factual existence of Mu/Lemuria. So that is a wonderful one. I believe I got this one secondhand in a local bookstore. And of course, your soul can call it forward whenever it needs it. Now, from there, this book, The Law Simulation of Lemuria by Frank Joseph, is another good read. It's also very technical. So for my people that are really looking for books that are about facts, that are going to bring everything forward, these two books are the way to go. But I do remember when I was reading it that this one kind of poo-poos on this one. My favorite part was probably towards the end, which is where I have the bookmark. It wasn't my favorite book to share, but because I've read it and because I know that everyone has different types of minds, I want to share it today. Now, aside from that, one of the books that really changed my world was Lemuria and Atlantis by Shirley Andrews. As I mentioned to many others, I have lent this book out somewhere between 5 and 10 times, and I always get it back. It explains a lot of how they both fell, some of their magics, and I really like Shirley Andrews' writing style. And I think it's just a good, if you don't know a lot about Lemuria and Atlantis, and I would say this is the best book to dive into for your first read, and then to specialize perhaps if you're drawn to one more than the other. Another book is The Lost Lands by Lucy Cavendish. Now, clearly Lucy is very much a Lemurian at heart. She writes incredible stuff in here about Lemuria. You're going to see and feel the love that shines through it. For my fellow Atlanteans, it doesn't paint us in a good picture because her experience of Atlantis is during the not golden age. But it is a great piece of work. And if you're curious about Avalon, you can see the connection between all of them. So my personal knowingness and understanding is that Lemuria is the mother and the sister to Atlantis, and we can't really be with one without being with the other. From there, something else that's just fascinating is Dolphins or Ancient Ancestors, also by Frank Joseph. This book in particular fell into the water, so we know it has dolphin energy, fell into the ocean. But it's not necessarily on Lemuria. But as we know, dolphins are an integrated part. They are from Sirius, the Sirius star system. They are great teachers and master teachers. And they're both very influential, both in Lemuria and Atlantis. So if you love dolphins, if you want to know more about them, their magics and the way they heal, I recommend that book. And also another great one is Dragons, Your Celestial Guardians by Diana Cooper. This book will talk a little bit about Lemuria, a little bit about Atlantis, but what you're going to understand is how incredible dragons are. Dragons heavily influenced us in Lemuria, into Atlantis and Avalon and beyond, in Asia as well. But it's one of my books I go to the most whenever I'm teaching different cosmic activations. I'll call on certain dragons of the Pleiades, Arcturus, Jupiter, etc. So another wonderful book. And then from there, I have a few more. One is the Sofia Code by Kaya Ra. If you don't have this book, one of my top reads. period that I recommend for just about anything. What you're going to find in here is Goddess Hathor, who is one of our great teachers in the times of Lemuria, and you're going to really expand your spiritual consciousness through this book, heal yourself, download some amazing codes, and it's just a wonderful book to have as you pursue your spiritual path. Now, something I just finished this week in preparation for my teachings was Coming Home to Lemuria. It's written by Sharmayan Amareya Kumara Redwood. Now, initially, it's a very thin book, okay? Initially, I didn't really enjoy the style in which it's written, but as I kept going forward, I fully believe she's a wonderful channeler, that she's clearly had many lifetimes in Lemuria. And I thought overall she did a really, really good work in it. And I came to really enjoy it, especially as I kind of neared the last third of it. So something you could read in a day if you're on vacation at the pool or by the beach would be a wonderful time to read it. If you're lucky enough to be in Hawaii or any of the remnants of Lemuria, how amazing for you to have those frequencies. This book, I'm planning on reading today, actually, Two Crystals from Lemuria. I can't tell you exactly what it's about, but as we know, Lemurian crystals are incredible. They are what is going to help us journey through so many beautiful things. And it's very short as well. So I bought these two online from a local bookstore, and I had no idea how thin they were. Usually I wouldn't buy something so thin, but sometimes the author just has something to get forward and it doesn't have to have a ton of history to it. So that's one. And then there is a Talos series. This is the only book that I have. It's not mine. It's loaned to me from a friend in because of research purposes. But there is a Talos volumes written by Diane Robbins. If you don't know, Talos is the Hollow Earth and underground city where the Lemurians went after, or sorry, right before Lemuria began to fall. So it stores incredible wisdoms there. There's wonderful beings for us to connect to. It's a really beautiful thing to do. Now, those are my books on Lemuria. I have way more on Atlantis. Naturally, that's kind of how I run. But I would recommend any of these for those of you that will be watching this video. Should you have something you want to share, a great read on Lemuria, I would love to know. My personal belief as well is that the Lemurians are very connected to the Pleiadians. As we know, Lemurians do everything from their heart, as do the Pleiadians. So I think any books that you read on the Pleiades, you'll pick up on that Lemurian vibe. But as well, we have, Sirius, Andromeda, Arcturus, Alpha Centauri, Lyra. All of these amazing star beings and star nations have always influenced our work here on the planet, particularly in times of Lemuria and Atlantis. So anything you read on the star nations and the way you connect to your star seed will really help. I think that's all I have to say for today. So thank you so much. As I mentioned, I'm sending this out to my students, but if you have anything you'd like to share with me about your Lemurian past lifetimes or memories, feel free to make a comment here. You can also visit us at the templesofatlantis.ca, see our offerings, our courses, our healings, our gatherings, and see what speaks to you as a high priestess of Lemuria, but a queen of Atlantis. There's so much that I want to share, and I'm just so honored to be doing this work with you. So peace, love, and light. Rama Timara. Everything sacred is blessed. Everything blessed is sacred. Wishing you a prosperous day. Many blessings.